Hi everyone. I'm just going to read each question and answer it to the best of my abilities. So the first question is, what do you believe are the most critical ethical concerns in counselor education, counselor supervision, and clinical practice in the field of counseling? For counselor education, I would say competency. You want to make sure that the students you're teaching develop the necessary skills in order to be a competent counselor. So things like being able to reflect meaning, being able to reflect thought, being multiculturally competent and sensitive, and the various other skills needed in order to just be an effective counselor. For counselor supervision, I would say not confidentiality, sorry, pardon me. I would say competency as well. It requires skill and training to be a competent supervisor. There's different types of supervision, and you need to be able to excel in one or multiple in order to make sure you're producing an effective counselor, and make sure that you're giving structured and solid feedback that is specific to the client and your intern. And then for clinical practice, I would say probably confidentiality. Confidentiality is always a tricky thing. Like, for example, today I had a student tell me that his parents hit him, and I didn't disclose to the student that I was going to call DCF. So technically I don't need to, but I make it clear in my sessions that if you're going to hurt someone, you're going to hurt yourself, or someone's being hurt, then I need to alert another adult or alert the appropriate parties, and I have that posted all over my room. So I guess that's a good example. And then I would say maybe boundaries and having dual relationships is another one. I know some people I know of people who have invited their counselor to like their wedding and stuff, and that's I guess that's a boundary crossing, or I forgot what the term is, but that's not necessarily something that I would do as a counselor. I think it would make things not awkward, but it can set a weird precedent. Okay, so next question. Describe at least one ethical concern in each of the three areas: counselor education, counselor supervision, and clinical practice. So I would say for counselor education, I'm going to go with competency again. You need to make sure that the counselors you are producing in your program are fully competent and able to handle diverse clientele, and be able to really reflect and display the proper skills necessary in order to be a fully competent counselor. You go into your internship and your practicum with the skills you learned in class, and then you refine your skills and you find your theory that you want to use as your guiding principle. But you don't want to send anyone out into the field that could potentially harm a client, or potentially not be effective at all. For counselor supervision, I would say maybe power dynamics. So supervisors, they have a lot of authority over supervisees. So for example, one of my friends just got she's able to supervise clients in the state of Florida, and she wanted to have me as one of her supervisees, and I thought the dynamics would be would be off, because I need someone as a firm leader, and I need someone who won't create like an imbalance of power. Granted, she's my friend, so I have that trust with her, but I don't believe that it would be healthy or productive for her to be my supervisor. And then clinical practice, I would say confidentiality again. Confidentiality is always a tricky thing. You want to make sure that you're honoring the client's privacy, but at the same time, if you need to breach privacy due to someone being harmed, someone's going to harm themselves, or they know of someone's being harmed, then it's a pretty clear process. At least for me as a school counselor, I have a pretty clear set of rules to follow. But you have to honor the client's privacy while also honoring your ethical guidelines, and part of that is preventing harm. And also, if it comes to like legal cases and whatnot, making sure that you're not you're not providing more than necessary to prevent the breaching the client's privacy and confidentiality. And then last question, consider at least one additional ethical concern in telemental health clinical practice, as well as distance supervision and online education. I would say competency is confidentiality is lots of C words, sorry. Confidentiality is a big one, just because there could be like breaches to your platform. Someone can hack into your Zoom or whatever platform you're using. There could be a data breach. There's many things that can happen. People they may not have access to a secure area, so people might be listening in on their conversations. There's digital, you have a digital blueprint, so there could be a software that's recording you, something along those lines. In distance supervision, I would say, that's a good one. In distance supervision, I would say probably power dynamics as well. Having that space between the two of you might be, it might be confusing to navigate as a supervisor and supervisee, especially if they're in another state where the rules are different, and I don't know if they can be supervisors in other states, but if that were the case, for example, making sure that they know all the same laws and same things and considerations you need in order to be an effective counselor in whatever county you're practicing. And then online education, I would say you don't get that face-to-face, you don't get to practice your skills face-to-face. So I took crisis counseling online when I was doing my master's program, and I did not feel prepared at all for crisis counseling. I didn't get the opportunity to practice my skills. I didn't get an opportunity to do any role plays. It just felt very superficial, and I felt like I didn't develop the necessary skills in order to be fully competent in a crisis. For example, I had a crisis, I think it was last Thursday at work, where a student disclosed they wanted to kill themselves. And I was a little shaken up because I didn't know the procedure to Chicago Public Schools risk assessments in the first place. No one had informed me. And second of all, it's just heavy news or shocking news. I handled it to the best of my ability, and I was told I did a good job. But I feel like if I had role played that before, I wouldn't have been as not taken aback, but shocked and more prepared. And that is it. If you have any questions for me, you can always just obviously reply underneath or shoot me an email at sdaler at, I think it's ego.thechicagoschool.edu. Well, it's sdaler, whatever the domain name is. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.